I call the meeting to order at 9:40 a.m. Could, Mr. Turtle, could you say the prayer invocation, please?
Yes. Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everybody. Tribal members, tribal staff, community members, thank you for watching today's council meeting. Let's go ahead and start this day off with a good prayer. Creator, call upon your name to thank you for the blessings of today. Thanking you for allowing us to wake up and experience this beautiful day that you have going on. The cloudiness, hoping for more moisture as we move forward, Creator. So we ask for those blessings as we move forward as the drought situation that we're going through. Creator, I ask that you bless the families that are going through the grievance of a lost loved one. Creator, I ask that you give them the strength to move forward together, with putting their loved one away and making sure that they get home in a good way. So Creator, all the families that have lost a loved one, I ask that you touch their minds and their hearts and their bodies and let them know that you're there to get them through whatever is needed to get through, Creator. I ask you that in a good, humble way, that you watch our tribal members in a good way. Touch their minds and their hearts and let them know that there's a better way, to do these things or to live life and not having to depend on any type of substance. Alcohol is what we're struggling with here on this reservation with the loss of the tribal members. So I just ask that you touch their minds and let them know, there's a better way to handle situations like that. And, the families helping them get through the grieving process. I ask that you touch the tribal members that are going through anything of a hardship. We all know that life is a hardship in itself, Creator. We don't know what everybody's dealing with the next person. They could be going through a lot and not having any type of support to get through it. So I just ask that you guide them, Creator. You guide them in a good way, in their life and what they're going through. The health. We know health plays a big role here on the tribal reservation, and a lot of our tribal members are going through health hardship. So I just ask that you, touch us all in what we're going through and help us get through what we're going through and support one another. Creator, I ask that you, touch all of us and remind us of what love is and supporting one another as tribal members. We have too much division here. We have too many tribal members against one another, and, that's not right in the little community we live in, Creator. I just ask that you give us a little guidance on how we move forward with building our relationships here, Creator. I see it, continues to get worse every year after year, so I just ask for a little help here for the tribal council and helping us get through what we need to get through and teach. And they got home to their loved ones, and just bless everybody that's continuing to travel today. If they're going for the from the Bear Dance, from Ignacio, from where they're going, I just ask that you bless them in a good way so they get home safely. A lot of bad things have been happening, so just ask for that guidance and the support here, Creator, and just blessing us in a good way. I ask that you bless all the veterans that are out there, as yesterday was Memorial Day. I just asked if whether they're active or they're retired, I just ask that you bless them and their families in a good way. That's a hard job doing what they do, ensuring that we live the lives that we live. So I just ask that you bless them in a good way so that way they get good blessings and, good guidance as they move forward. I ask that you bless our lands, from our mountain to our mesa, to the surrounding communities. The animals that live on this land. I ask that you bless them all. The trees that provide the oxygen that we breathe in. I ask that you bless that too. All the creations that you've created for us, Creator. Everything plays a reason and a role for why it was created, so I just ask that you bless that in a good way. I ask that you bless the 7 council members that are here. Bless us all in a good way so that we make good thoughts and good decisions with the conversations that we have today. Bless the staff that's here. Help them do what they need to as well. Tribal members from the youngest to the oldest, on and off the reservation, I ask that you bless them too. Help them in whatever shortfalls they have, Creator. Whatever we all have here, Creator. Just ask for all these good blessings. You know, we need it. We need it. I ask for the moisture. You know, with the drought we're going through, I ask that you bless us with moisture to wash away this bad medicine, this bad things, these bad prayers that are going on. You know, help everybody remember that we're not here for that. We're all here to be as one. So again, Creator, I ask you humbly from the bottom of my heart, and whatever I failed to mention in my mind, I ask that you take it from me too, or anybody in this room or watching, take it from them as well in a good, humble way. So that way our prayers get answered and we move forward accordingly, Creator. So again, with all that said, I leave it in your hands, Creator, to bless it the best way you feel necessary. Tukuya.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Turtle. At this time, Recording Secretary, can you give us the roll call, please?
Bonnie Knight. Marilyn Williams. Here. Hennessy. Elston Turtle.
Here.
Catherine Jacket. Conrad Jacket.
What do we have? We have Tony, Marilyn, Alston, there's Gwen, myself, and two absent, Conrad and Catherine. So the five make and establishes a quorum of the Butte Mountain Youth Tribal Council, Tuesday, May 26, 2026. Members of the council, before you in your packet, you have number 1, the approval of the agenda. Please review, make any additions, remove any agenda items, or include your suggested item.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Councilman.
under executive session number 12, I would like to add Abby Dade from Savoy.
Okay. Okay, so noted. Yes.
Under executive session, can I add in a discussion? It's just a discussion on a draft resolution. It's one of the items that we had previously talked about on our Monday executive meetings. It's revolving or regarding harassment.
In a way of harassment of employees, members,
Staff and council members.
okay? Any other additions, deletions from today's meeting?
I have one more. Under executive session, I know everybody got this email. I believe it was last week regarding an individual who would like to speak on behalf of the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. I just want to see if we want to discuss that and see if that's something that the council would approve or not approve. And if we can discuss maybe a process, if there's any individuals who'd like to speak on behalf of the tribe, if they need to submit a formal request or a letter or come before us, just because we're getting some individuals who do want to speak on behalf of the tribe, and we want to make sure that they follow either a process or some sort of recommendation on how they do that or don't do that.
Okay. 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 If there is no other additions, deletions from today's tribal council meeting, I would like to entertain a motion to approve today's agenda as written and the inclusion of the 4 items under executive session.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion from Councilman Total.
Second.
I have a second. Secretary House. I go to the vote. All those in favor of today's agenda items signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstain, motion carries. Got a 5-4-0 approval for today's agenda. Tribal council members, we have number 2, approval of the council minutes of May 12th, 2026. In the process of reviewing the minutes of May 12th, 2026, I will give the public it's on.
His
Mine's on too.
turn off and on.
What was it? Woo.
You're good? Okay. Getting back, we've got the approval of the council minutes on May 12th, 2026. I will go down the document agenda for today. We had the roll call to order at 9:40 a.m. Invocation by Councilman Alston Turtle. Roll call, we have Tawny, Marilyn, Alston, Gwen, myself present. That establishes a quorum. Absent were Conrad and Catherine. We have the approval of the agenda, which I will read. At this time, new business. Number 3 is the Tribal Energy Administration. Mr. David Blue, Director. Subtitle A, to reintroduce the assignment in oil gas leads, right, title, and interest from XTO Energy Incorporated to XTO-CT Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico LLC lease number 14260478. B, request approval to apply for an Energy and Mineral Development Program, the EMDP grant offered by the Department of Energy and Mineral Development, DMAN. Number 4, we have White Mesa Administration, Contessa Tallahash, White Mesa representative. She is doing the MOU with the San Juan Counseling. We have a typo there with number 7, should be number 5. Is the Child Development Center, Charlene Miller, Educational Support Manager, Sherelle Lane, Education Division Director, on a Head Start grant application. Number 6, BIA updates by Acting and Detailed Superintendent Ms. Bancroft. Number 7, we have Tribal Council reports. Number 8, in executive session, is going to be the New Market, Chad Pierce, General Manager, agreement with Arizona Fuels LLC to enter into a retail sale incentive agreement for the Sinclair brand of fuel at the New Market. Number 9 is the Royalty Committee discussion. Number 10 is Abbey Day. Number 11 is discussion on harassment, staff, and council. Number 12 is going to be the representative request discussion on tribal representation format as to how future formats are going to be addressed for council members speaking on behalf of the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. That will conclude today's council meeting. Members of council, again, we have the May 12th, 2026 minutes.
Chairman,
Councilman?
if there's no amendments or changes to the minutes for May 12th, I would like to make a motion.
Motion made by Councilman Turtle. Second by Councilwoman Knight. Go to the vote. All those in favor of the minutes of May 12th, 2026 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those opposed? Those abstained? Motion carries 5-4-0. Thank you, council members. New business. Mr. David Blue, could you please come forward, state your name and the department and the discussion topic that you are presenting to the tribal council?
Good morning, council, executive staff. I'm David Ballou. I'm the tribal director of energy. And the first item of new business I have is revisiting an assignment of oil and gas lease, right title and interest from XTO Energy to XTO CT, Oklahoma, New Mexico, LLC. 604-78. I presented this at an earlier council meeting, and a recommendation was made that I have the resolution reviewed by justice and be approved by the Midland Committee. So I've done that activity. There's been no changes to the resolution, so it's ready to be considered.
Okay, members of council, Mr. Ballou from the Energy Department had made this presentation to the tribal council. At the time of this presentation, XTO here that is operating on the Ute Mountain Ute Reservation in the southeast corner of the reservation in New Mexico had brought this before us. It's not anything that is changing onto the document. This is a changeover from XTO here locally to XTO Texas, Colorado, and New Mexico, correct? It's the same company, but just
A different business.
just a different business, so. Any discussion on the changes and what's being introduced, reintroduced to the assignment of the oil and gas? Is that a typo with the CT, or is it CT, or is it CO? Huh?
It is CT.
It's CT, okay.
Chairman?
Yes.
Thank you. David, was this a conversation that was held in the executive meetings?
No,
No? Okay,
no, it's all here.
okay.
Yes.
David, thank you for taking our recommendation and taking us back to the legal and the minerals committee. I know when you presented it, I know I was one that had the issue about, if it was reviewed or not by our legal department. So thank you for doing that.
Mr. Chair?
Superintendent?
Yes, I have a question for David.
Okay.
David, can you tell me whether or not this assignment is it going to be record title or operating rights?
I thought it was to be operating rights as well as title and interest. In whatever rights XTO Energy currently has today, the new business entity will hold.
So, Mr. Chair, if it's going to be one or the other, I believe that the resolution should identify one or the other or both. So the way we look at it is you either have an assignment of record title or assignment of operating rights. The resolution should indicate both if it's going to be record title and operating rights or just operating rights. And we haven't had a chance to thoroughly look at this, but I believe that XTO on the Ute Mountain Reservation for this particular lease only holds operating rights. And David, if you can let council know what formation they're operating on and how many acres are associated with this lease, and whether or not that's identified on the document. I don't have them in front of me.
Okay.
Superintendent, my understanding is XTO operates no wells on the reservation. They hold rights to certain formations, probably under other operators. This is just being transferring those rights and title and that formation interest to a new business entity. But XTO is not an operator.
Okay, knowing that, is there any comments, discussions from the tribal council? If there's not, Mr. Blue, can you read the resolution that you have before us on the second whereas?
Yeah, sure. Whereas the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council has a duty to preserve, develop, and increase resources, including a responsibility for overseeing development or exploration of oil and gas resources, and has determined that improvements of energy production on the reservation and accessibility is vitally important to the economic growth and development of the tribe and tribal membership. And whereas XTO Energy Incorporated, the assigner, seeks to assign to XTO CT TXOK Numex LLC, the assignee, 100% of assigner's right, title, and interest in Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Oil and Gas Lease Number 14-20-604-78, the lease, together with all associated rights, privileges, obligations, duties, and liabilities arising under the lease, the laws of the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe, and all applicable federal regulations. And whereas the assignment includes, without limitation, A, all rights to explore for, develop, produce, and market oil, gas, and associated substances under the lease. B, all interest in wells, facilities, equipment, and appurtenances located on or used in connection with the lease. C, all obligations related to royalties, severance tax, possessory interest tax, production reporting, environmental compliance, cultural resource protection, bonding, reclamation, and any other duties imposed by the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the Office of Natural Resources Revenue, or any other federal authority. And whereas the assignment shall be effective only upon approval by the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council by resolution and by the Secretary of Interior or the Secretary's authorized delegate, and shall not be valid or binding until such approvals are obtained. And whereas the land subject to Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Lease Number 14-20-604-78 are described as follows. Township 31 North, Range 14 West, NMPM unsurveyed, Section 1, Lot 1, Lot 5, Lot 6, Lot 7, southwest quarter of the northeast quarter, west half of the southeast quarter, and the southwest quarter. Section 11, the northeast quarter, the northeast quarter, the northwest quarter, the south half of the northwest quarter, and the south half. Section 12, Lot 1, Lot 2, Lot 3, Lot 4, the west half, the east half of the west, and then west half. Whereas Exio Energy will provide to the Bureau of Indian Affairs a fully executed Form 5-154E assignment of mining lease, together with all supporting documents required for the review of the assignment of 100% of its right, title, and interest in Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Lease Number 14-20-604-78. And whereas the Justice Department has reviewed this resolution and their Minerals Committee voting members have voted in support of this assignment as being in the best interest of the tribe to bring the Tribal Council for approval. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council hereby approves the assignment of all right, title, and interest of Exio Energy Incorporated in Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Lease Number 14-20-604-78 to XTO CT TXOK Numax LLC, subject to approval by the Secretary of the Interior or the Secretary's authorized delegate. And be it finally resolved that the Ute Mountain Tribal Council authorizes the chairman to sign the resolution, consent form, and any required legal documents, and authorizes him to take such further action that may be necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution.
Okay, Mr. Blue, thank you. Is there any questions,
Chairman,
discussion? Councilman Turtle?
thank you for that. I just got a quick question for you, David. So it's all the same company, but it's probably just another arm of,
Yeah, that I'm taking is focused on this regional area.
Okay.
Probably just set up another business line, just focusing on certain parts of the United States.
okay, just wanted to get clarification on that. Thank you.
Any other questions, concerns, discussions? And legal has reviewed, the Minerals Department has approved to move forward to the Tribal Council per request of Tribal Council. So we're here. I hope that the answer that Mr. Blue has given the superintendent is sufficient enough, or is there any other discussion, concerns from BIA?
Mr. Chair, the resolution that you just read clarified the question that I was asking for. And once it reaches our office, we'll do a final review, but everything appears to be as it should be. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent. We have 3 entities that is supporting this. Legal Minerals BIA. So what are the wishes of the tribal council?
I make motion.
Motion by Councilperson Knight. Second.
Second, Chairman.
Second, Secretary House. Go to the vote. All those in favor of this lease agreement between XTO, XTO-TX, CT, Oklahoma, and New Mexico signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Those abstain? We have a motion. Motion passes 5-4-0. Thank you. Next one.
Okay, the next item I have is there is a Energy and Mineral Development Program grant opportunity issued through the Division of Energy and Mineral Development, Division of the DIA. The timeline for the grant application is relatively short, June 18th, so I wanted to get this opportunity in front of council. What I want to do is explore and assess the geothermal potential on the Mountain tribal lands. I think that's something that it's an energy source that's been, I think, understudied on the reservation. It's very clean energy where it exists. It's basically using the heat from rocks down below the surface to either, if they're hot enough, you can drive production of electricity. If you have warmer temperatures, you can use it for agriculture, greenhouses, heating and cooling, either process that generate heat, so buildings, offices, things like that. It's a very natural form of energy, and I would like to apply for a grant to study the potential here on the reservation and then be able to make some recommendations going forward on projects that the tribe might pursue in the geothermal realm. So I am engaging the professional services of a company called Diagenics. Geologist's name is Stephanie Forstner. She's a PhD candidate from Fort Lewis College. She has a lot of understanding of geothermal. She specializes in fractures and subsurface geomapping. She will work with me to develop some of the literature review, some of the documents that might exist out in the public sector around geothermal in this area. And then she will help me prepare the grant application. In exchange for her services, the Tribal Energy Department will pay her $10,000 for her services to research and support and prepare the energy application. The Tribal Energy Department has some professional services funds that I will use for this. I think it's a good application of the funds because I think it's something that I'm excited about. It's very clean energy, it's very renewable, it's very replenishable. It'd be real exciting whether we found something in New Mexico to support a community, whether we found something to plug into farm and ranch, either greenhouses, growing more food stability, food sovereignty for the tribe, or as we do more oil and gas development, somehow tying the two together. If the tribe ever pursues a data center, geothermal is a great way to take that excess heat from the data center, put it down on the ground, cool it, and basically sequester the heat back in a hot zone. So I'm excited about the opportunity, and if you'd like me to read the resolution, if you don't have any questions, I'm happy to do that.
Questions? Mr. Scott?
This is a question on the grant application. I see that you're seeking over $507,000. Does the grant require any matching funds?
It does not, which makes it really nice.
Ms. Knight and Ms. House.
Well, good morning, David. I'm glad Ron brought that up because I was going to ask that too. Maybe if we could edit your resolution and put no match. And then I just wanted to say thank you. I've always been wanting directors to go out there and get grants themselves. It's a really good project, research, so I just wanted to say thank you, David, for utilizing the grant opportunities because there are grant opportunities out there, especially for energy and BIA funds, so thank you.
Ms. House.
I just had a question, David. Would she be willing to provide a breakdown of that 10,000 just so we see where all the funds are properly going for her services?
Yeah, I think in the professional services contract, and I just got that done this
Okay.
morning, it'll be in
In there?
what gets, signed by all you guys. And it does describe that, I'll read it to you if you don't mind. She's going to provide preliminary research and support to prepare and apply for an Energy Mineral Development Program grant to the Division of Energy and Mineral Development, DEMD, Office of Trust Services, Bureau of Indian Affairs, supporting the assessment of geothermal potential on Ute Mountain Ute tribal lands for a grant valued at approximately $507,600. Specific services include geothermal resource literature review, background synthesis of geothermal systems, technical narrative support of the grant application, coordination with Tribal Energy Administration staff, that'll be me, and grant submission assistance. Contract does not guarantee grant award or funding.
All right, thank you, David.
So without further questions, discussions, Mr. Blue, could you please read the resolution that you have prepared for this to be considered? Sir, thank you.
Whereas the Tribal Energy Administration is seeking tribal council approval to apply for a grant opportunity offered to the Energy and Mineral Development Program offered by the Division of Energy and Mineral Development. The grant applications are due June 18, 2026. And whereas the grant opportunity will help the Ute Mountain Ute tribe explore and understand the potential for extending the diverse energy resources within the reservation beyond traditional oil and gas to include the potential for geothermal applications. Building on the diversity that utility-scale solar and pump storage projects provide. This grant is focused on understanding the degree of geothermal potential on the reservation, the applications that can be developed from geothermal resources, such as supporting existing farm and ranch operations, new ventures such as greenhouses, providing district heating and cooling for tribal office spaces, or for new community development in New Mexico. Geothermal could even provide some cooling for a future data center. And whereas the Tribal Energy Administration has budgetary funds available to engage the services of Diagenics LLC for preliminary research to support the grant application process. $10,000 of the department's budget will be used to conduct preliminary industry research and help generate the grant application materials with input from the Director of Tribal Energy Administration. The application will be seeking grant funds of approximately $5,007,600. Whereas the Mineral Committee voted and agreed that pursuing this grant opportunity is in the best interest of the tribe, and Justice has reviewed this resolution. And now therefore be it resolved that the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council approves the use of department funds for the application for an Energy and Mineral Development Program grant through the Division of Energy and Mineral Development for the study of geothermal potential on the Ute Mountain Tribal Reservation valued at $507,600. And I will add that no match requirement in the final document.
Okay, questions? Question, Legal Department, Ms. Green, in years past, if you have been on board as an associate counsel, at one time, did we have an advisor, legal advisor, for the Minerals Committee? Did we have Mr. Rasmussen, who tragically was lost in a bicycle accident back in some years ago that gave advice to the Minerals Committee. Do we have that?
I do recall him, I think he passed away shortly after I came on board, so I'm not sure the role he played. I know as far as legal, Mr. Order sat in on the Minerals Committee. And then other than that representation, I'm not sure if there was any other, I'm not familiar with any.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing and hearing none, what are the wishes of the tribal council to execute this grant application for the energy department concerning development in energy and mineral and its geothermal and other development besides the fossil fuel and the renewable energy process? So is there any other?
Chairman, I make motion.
Motion, Secretary House. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Knight. Thank you. Go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Those opposed? Those abstaining? We have a motion or a consensus of a 6-5-0 vote. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. There's going to be a flurry of some additional energy grants. I know WDC looking at a DOE grant to start building capacity and Ute Mountain Energy, and going to keep pursuing, try to get one more under the wire for the EMDP grant around 3D seismic in the Mustang area. So it's good to see these dollars out there and accessible to tribes. So thank you for your support.
I was, just a comment, I was in the back of the Ute Mountain yesterday and I seen one of the helium drilling rigs out there.
Sagebrush?
Yes, that was a good sight to see that they're doing some re-exploratory drilling in that area. And
Going down to the Leadville and they're testing to see what sort of gases come up and, how much helium is there.
yes,
Just a
and
whole new chapter.
and I was seeing Mr. What's his name?
Reinott, Tim
Reinott, Mr. Tim Reinott. Yes, he indicated that there would be three sites that he was looking at, the preliminary with the geologists as well, looking at the interest and the magnitude that this could bring to the tribe as well. So thank you for that, and thank you, and best of luck with this grant. And hopefully at some point we could, on another level, talk about WDC in its energy department initiative to establish. So let's keep that going. Thank you. So
Thank you.
make the changes and look forward to signing off on it. Thank you. All righty. The next is the White Mesa Administration, Miss Contessa Callahash. Could you please state your name, department, and your subject matter?
Good morning, Tribal Council. This is Callahash. I am the White Mesa Admin Administrator. We like to present an MOU request. That is part of the collaboration we had with the Utah Department of Health and Human Services. Along with myself, I have Erin Hughes, San Juan Counseling Director. and he will have some input on this. During this collaboration, we talked about bringing in the department to get services provided for the West Mesa community. Currently, we have no departments from FOIA to assist with counseling services. This would really benefit our community, especially those who have no transportation that need this service. And I know there is quite a few from the community that do, go up to Catamount County, to the counseling services, not only adults, youth also. So they are aware of some community members. Majority of them who do go up there they don't have any transportation daily to get to their appointments. I have met with Aaron along with Vice Chair Nancy, and we came up with a solution. We did find an office for them to come down and work with our community members on a schedule. Last I knew it was going to be every other Thursday. So I am here to present this MOU to see if we can get some services down here in White Mesa. And I will give Aaron the microphone to express his thoughts.
Board council members, members. I would reiterate, the fact that there's need to include various mental health services. So we got together with the division and what is the leadership and came up with the idea that we can provide services directly in the community that we serve, right? It's going to be with the community members that will eliminate some of the access, the limitation to access providers that are in transportation, sometimes access to the area as well. Telehealth services, we have been working with several members in this community, and we are looking forward to coming and serving them in the community. We initially discussed it the other Thursday, that we discuss flexible schedule where we can come in more often if needed, and we can begin themselves.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that brief synopsis of the types of services that will be provided upon the Tribal Council approval of this memorandum of agreement. Several months ago, we had the White Mesa Administration Vice Chairperson Kansi had initiated a service provider consultation meeting with the White Mesa, the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe, with the different services, alongside with the Health and Human Services Department, Mr. Ozzy Ascati, bringing in those individuals that have the ability to provide services to the White Mesa community members. Some of these services that are what I would say were dormant in informational knowledge that San Juan County and the Utah Department of Health and Human Services were providing services. They were providing the service not at the magnitude of us going into a MOU or a MOA, but they were providing the services, in particularly in Mr. Aaron's position. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Aaron, about court matters, in some of the court matters that were we're assigning to your office for community members to have the services that you render to the members that were in court proceedings. We was presented with that as a service that was there for that purpose. And again, as Ms. Telehash has indicated, that no or limited services from the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Substance Abuse Program was just on a Wednesday weekly basis if service could be provided or however they had the means to provide the services. What this is pretty much telling us is that Aaron can provide a more robust, immediate service for the White Mesa community members that are in need of this type of services. Is that what I'm getting at? That you're available at this time? You have received an office to have this service provided to the community members?
Correct. The immediate direct services. We have worked with the writing courts, but we also work with the court in Colorado on occasion. And as we discussed looking into the future, this would also provide us an opportunity to do some training within the community as the practitioners that come up through the community that are interested. Some training, some oversight, and some collaboration, and identify a need to expand services in the community.
And just caveat off of that as well, there are other services within the San Juan County that also have that ability and are wanting to contribute their services to the White Mesa community. This is just one of many departments that is looking towards assisting the White Mesa community for the community members, as we have discussed in our consultation as well as with the state, that this is the doors have been open for service to be rendered to our members in Utah that lack the services from our headquarters here in Toyac. So it's a win-win situation that we have a state organization, health department, that is able to provide that services not only to the reservation but to our neighboring tribe to the south of us, the Dene people, Navajos as well. So I just want to say I commend the current staff and Ms. Cansey for the efforts they put out to open the doors for services to be provided to the community. Questions? Questions, Secretary?
Hello, I just had a question. I know I seen your transmittal that went through and some of the council members did have comments on that. But one was answered just now about why we're not utilizing the Ute Mountain Ute departments here. So you had said that they only can dedicate one day or however many days out of their schedule during the week to go to White Mesa. Is there any outreach to those departments to see if they can schedule more time for White Mesa? And then my second question is, has legal took a look at your MOU?
Yeah, I did reach out to Mr. Harvey, and I never got no response. We also do have a law here, where they come over, aware of coming into the office and signing in if they are here, but we haven't seen nobody for, I'd say, almost about a year. So, that's why, I kind of wanted to reach out to San Juan County, for assistance. But as of today, I haven't heard anything. I ran into Richard over there, 2 weeks ago, but no email.
Okay, so do you think setting up a meeting with him would be something that you could do before we explore another area of going outside for services, or do you think that that just wouldn't work?
To me, you know, it's been almost, like I said, almost 2 months. There's no communication. I don't know if he just ignored me or, the CHR, employee up there does see the guy or the person coming over for the testing, but he just sits outside. They don't even come here. So like I said, there's no communication.
Where, excuse me, where are they in the diabetes office? Where do they conduct their, where?
Admin, right beside the travel center.
The little white building, the substation, police substation, that's where they have it.
Yeah.
So you don't see them on that basis of reporting to you. So they may come without reporting and leave without telling anybody. Could that be?
Yeah, like I said, we have a sign-in sheet for them when they come over. That's just to verify, you know, if their director was asking, hey, was my worker over there, you know, we could pull that out and say, no, he wasn't. Because they're notified to stop here, even, you know, all departments, all the other ones, they do stop here, regardless if you're administrative secretary, you know, those individuals do come here, they sign in, but counseling we haven't seen nobody.
Okay.
And Chairman, and then I just want to ask Morgan, do you know if any departments had went out to White Mesa, or did they put that on their schedule?
I know we have, the White Mesa Diabetes Program heads over to White Mesa usually once a week to get to the diabetes office. They were not going over when they had the diabetes representative there as much, but when that person transferred out, they started going back over again, and that's when they found issues with the building that they started working on, with the diabetes building. But some rodent issues, I believe, were the cause of the smell up in the ceiling.
Oh, no.
So they had to deal with those issues. With counseling and treatment going over, the only one I know going over is the one to do the testing. I don't know if the counselor is going over at all. Being that we really only have the one counselor over there, his time would probably be very limited to go over to White Mesa on a weekly basis to get him over there with his schedule, being that the counselor is the director of the program as well.
Mm-hmm.
So with him doing both positions right now, it would be limited, so. These services that, the contestant is asking for are needed in the community, and it would be beneficial.
Okay, and then just real quick, did legal take a look at their MOU?
I looked at it.
Okay.
I do have a question, but maybe this is more from finance. On the compensation, I was just not clear. Who is it? Because it says White Mesa is not under obligation to pay, so who is paying for this service?
I think it's from.
I can answer that. We would, as services are provided, fill out the other service. I think, large cross-section of who we serve, probably on Medicaid. If they're not, if they qualify, that's when we can also have case managers or therapists help them get access to those services. We also have a sliding fee scale. We did, in brief, talk about as we move forward with the expansion of programs. I think that the summer program is something that we discussed. as well as family therapy, sometimes, maybe Medicaid or some of those other private insurances do not cover services like family therapy, and we know that if someone needs to go to treatment, oftentimes, the family component doesn't get addressed. That is a component that is often vital as families come back and transition out of treatment back into the community. If everyone is kind of being part of that process, you know that the percentage of success, long-term sustained success goes up. And so, we're not asking or demanding anything. We're really more collaborating. We know that if it's going to be improved and get in there, the incentives can take a while to build services, and that we might have to eat some cost initially. But in that meeting with the department, we talked about one of the big things is consistency. So we're in a consistent, and we're providing the services, people know we're doing good work, and we're showing good outcomes. That gives us the opportunity that the expand services, and maybe come down the road where we may reach out and say, hey, there is funding available, without the expectation that we're demanding or that be on the hook for everything. Again, it's more of a collaborative process with community members with the white community.
Okay, I was just trying to clarify, everyone, just so that if someone is referred from White Mesa, the way this involved, that they didn't think the tribe was responsible. So just since this is being discussed, I just wanted to clarify that and kind of get direction on that. Thank you.
Okay, what I see in this is that it's just a means of providing that services without laying blame to anybody. It's about the patient. It's about providing that services because you're there. You're 11 miles away to the south to provide that service. And as for us traveling 79 miles to provide that service is adequate. We could build infrastructure. We could build a foundation to render the services that are not being provided to the community of White Mesa. And I think that you're taking a proactive stance in providing the services. I mean, the state of Utah is taking the bull by the horn and coming to White Mesa than they ever have before. And due with this administration that has been set in place, they're doing that very thing. And I commend Ms. Tallahash and Ms. Cansey and the other San Juan County service providers to come to the Ute Mountain Ute tribe and provide and render that services without laying blame to anybody, because the issue is with the patient. The issue is getting that service there than well, that's at fault, this is at fault. This is a remedy to fix that problem. So again, I thank you for that change of direction for the community of White Mesa. Comment? Yes.
I'd like to say something. This MOU came about because we were invited to submit a proposal to the state of Utah to provide services. They have a federal grant that comes down the funnel to provide, enhance and provide better health services for rural Utah. So we're rural Utah. So Alfie, as mentioned before, he contacted us and he invited us to submit a proposal, which we did. So this is the result of some of the outreach that we have done. And I have to say, I've lived here the majority of my life, and I've been the administrator here for years. And Ms. Tallahash is exactly right. There is no services here. Former administration, I jumped up and down, waved my arms, sent emails, and nobody responded. So, you know, if we have to reach outside of the realm of the tribe, then I think we should be allowed to do that, because we need the services here. Just because it's a long drive, I'm sorry, you know, but you have a job to do. And if you're not honest and serious about that job, then, you know, we need to find other resources. And I think this is a very good resource. And I'm very in full support of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had one question.
Where would the offices be located that the counseling would come in to do?
That is gonna be at the old admin. There's currently 5 open doors up there. There's a total of 6 offices in the building, plus the restroom and then a small kitchen. So he would be located up there.
With all 6 offices?
Yes.
Ms. Jacket.
I can flip on that. All the departments that have wanted to have offices there don't utilize them because they never come over. So, we vacated, some of those offices because due to non-usage, they're just sitting there. And electric bills, propane bills, you know, they're piling up. And when the agreement first came up with the tribal departments that wanted to have an office there, they were to share the cost of the electricity and the propane. That never came to fruition, so administration's been paying for those. So, you know, we need to utilize that building, and if it's gonna be for good services, then there's not a question for me.
Ms. Jacket.
Mike, good morning. I just want to say that I think when we get, you know, I think you guys are going the right direction because, you know, White Mesa really, I feel like we've been neglecting White Mesa for services for quite a while. You know, going back on my own past history, you know, working in counseling and treatment, I used to go down once a week, every month, you know, to meet with the clients that are in need. And right now, it's like we're really lacking that services, and our people, they really desperately need help, you know, especially White Mesa. And and I think it's a good, it's a start, you know, to start somewhere. And the other question I have is that, is this going to be based on referrals or a volunteer needs for the services?
Well, we might are doing both. We created a referral document. And it's or based on kind of that volume of
Okay, and also you'll be able to be working with the court system here in Toyoak. And I think that's something the court system really needs to work and to recognize the services and the hours that the clients are required to do. And I hope that be negotiated so that they can get the credits for attending treatments. And then also, have, like Nikki, take a look at the MOU, make sure that it's okay. No, I don't have a problem with that. I really say that White Mesa do need help. Me que no estoy.
Any other comments? Yes, Councilman.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. First and foremost, I want to say welcome, Contessa, Aaron. Thank you for that presentation regarding this MOU that could potentially help benefit our tribal membership in White Mesa. You know, as we look at this issue that we're going through, and it's a big one, it's not just in the community of White Mesa, but it's here in Toyac as well. I'm glad that we're thinking outside of the box because we do have those issues of communication, and I think it's something that we need to suppress already because it's not hurting, us here, but it's hurting the tribal membership. Really garnering that help that needs to be, presented to them and helping them recover from what they're going through, whether it's any situation, if it's alcohol, substance, these are things that we really need to look after as we move forward. I think we need a revamp or maybe even a reform to what's going on with this counseling and treatment all across the board because we're seeing things that haven't been resolved historically for our tribal members, which is leading up to what we're facing now in the crisis of losing our tribal members. And especially now at a young age. We're starting to put our tribal members away at a younger age, and it shouldn't be like that. They should be fitted the help that they need to at any aspect or any level, regardless of that. So I'm really glad that you're not taking just referrals, that you're taking individuals that want to come in and really express that they need that help. That's where we're seeing a lot of the challenges, I think, on this side here. So I'm glad that you guys are sifting through the challenges that are there and really trying to develop something that would help accommodate our tribal members on the White Mesa side because, I mean, it's a problem that we really need to suppress. How do we develop these programs and really programs that are really culturally sensitive? And I was reading through this MOU and I saw that in there, and I'm glad that you're taking the initiative for the cultural sensitivity on that aspect because it's just not the Western modern day society medicine; it's cultural medicine as well. So really incorporating the both of them, I think we would get a better outcome. So really looking at that. So I put this for food for thought for the tribal council. Maybe this is something that we need to do and we need to regather all our team players to give a better outlook on what is expected for this counseling and treatment department because they've got the funding that's there. They do. And we're talking about some potential issues with funding shortfalls. Definitely can we look into that way too. I know there might be some challenges. But in this case, I don't think it would be with crossing state lines. I think it's just geared to U Mountain Ute tribe. So really looking at that too, how do we formulate something that would help you benefit with the MOU that's being incorporated here along with the department in counseling and treatment? Because I mean, for far too long, we've been discussing this issue with counseling and treatment and how we move forward. Do we have the right team players there? Do we have the right recommendations that are there? That's where the core basis starts from. And I know capacity is an issue for us at times. Sometimes we don't have the staff to fulfill a lot of these issues or obligations that we have set forth before us. But how do we reform that? How do we come back to the drawing board and say, okay, this isn't working for us. We need to go a different direction. And definitely, I think your help on that side would be beneficial. I like to commend the state of Utah. And what's happening, we've seen it in education, now counseling and treatment. I wish we had these relationships with, our counterpartners out there that are really close to us and communities that are adjacent to us, but unfortunately we don't. So how do we develop answers to a lot of these issues that we have? Sometimes I still think we're pondering in those thoughts, but how do we move forward with everybody at the table? And, we've got to have that same mindset as we move forward to want to help our tribal members become successful, especially with this addiction we call, with alcohol and drugs. It's much needed. It's much needed. We're a small tribe, and like I said, we're continuing to lose tribal members, and especially at an early age. So I commend you guys for this MOU that's being developed here. Maybe we can incorporate that or give some ideas to the Colorado side over here, to make sure that we're fruitful in the things that we do. Because right now I see us at a stalemate. We've been at a stalemate for a number of years, and I don't know if it's ever going to change. So that's something that we have to really prioritize. I don't know if that's any of our priorities that are there, but we have to really look at that and say, okay, this is something that we have to accomplish down the road. Time frames, definitely those play an essential role as we move forward to say, okay, we've met this timeline right here. Short term, long terms, and short term goals. I always say that because what are we really working at to make sure that these things come to fruition? And the reality of it is, I don't know. So I think this is something that we really have to come back to the drawing board about, and maybe even giving, some thoughts as we go through these council meetings. I hope a lot of these things are jotted down and they're really incorporated in what of the things that we're trying to do to remedize these things that we're going through. So again, I'm in support of this. Who knows best than the own community members of our vice chairman and our administrator for White Mesa on what needs to be incorporated for your community to be successful and a lot of the challenges that we're facing. So again, maybe something food for thought, Mr. Chairman. This is probably something that we have to really come back to, because the reality of it is we're failing. And you see that by the loss of tribal members that we have. We got to do something now, and before it's too late. I would like to say it's already too late, because we've lost one too many from these addictions. And this goes back to maybe just the lack of services that we have, but past history as well. The past years that we've been trying to remedize this, and it's not worked. So again, reform is probably something we need to do. But I support what's going on with this MOU, and I look forward to seeing how a lot of the lives are going to change in the community of White Mesa, with some of these things that you're taking initiative on. So again, thank you, Contessa, for bringing this forward, and thank you, Aaron, for presenting on what could be a remedy for the losses that we have here for alcohol addiction and drug addiction as well. So the way up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good, thank you. Okay, so we have before us, and they have looked at the MOU, legal has. So we come to this point at this time to see where we go with this MOU. So what I would like to do is, because it's not in a resolution format, I would like to go down with each of the council members on a consensus to get into this MOU with San Juan Counseling Services for the White Mesa community. So I'll start with my right. Ms. Knight, do you consent to this MOU with San Juan Counseling and the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe White Mesa community? Secretary House.
Before I give my answer, I just want to make sure that it's going to be in a tribal resolution format. We just want to make sure that everything that we passed during the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council meeting is in a resolution format, and that's documented in our document saying that this MOU was authorized by the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council. So I would like to get that in as soon as possible. And if you need help on a resolution format, I would get with legal to help you on that, and then we can get the signatures on that resolution and put in our documents for our records. But yes.
So I will cease the consensus. Ms. Tallahash, Ms. Kansi, could you get it into a resolution format and present it at the June 9th council meeting? So
Yes.
this will cease the conversation and the MOU until June 9th tribal council meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is the Child Development Center. Ms. Charlene Miller, could you please come up and introduce yourself and the topic that you are bringing forth to the tribal council. I don't think, I think it's on. But you can speak loud. Can you give us a narrative of the grant?
Now, we do have a letter, for Office of Head Start and Tribal Council, that we would typically request a 1-month extension for our continuation grant application. Because it's gonna close on, our due date is June 1st. And we would like more time to put that in for our grant process toward achieving our goals, our objectives, and also due to the resignation of our director, just the responsibilities among all of that, our grant application is.
Have you spoken to the, yes, and they requested that you request an extension with a letter? Okay. Okay.
They, for the extension.
Okay.
And you have a,
Yes, we got a copy of it.
that one there, and then what is missing, also what we had turned in was the policy council, so I do have that, I have everything that's signed it. And then I also have the budget narrative for FY 26-27. Also, I don't believe was in the packet. And that is page 384. The budget narrative is 4 pages, so that's also not.
So the budget narrative is with this grant that's going to be submitted? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And that will be for the new fiscal year? Yes. Councilman Turner, question for you is, as Mr. Scott, is it appropriate to go forth with the budget narrative at this time, being submitted for the records, and then hear their budget proposal at the budget meeting? Is that the process? Or is it sufficient enough to send with the application and
Mr. Chairman, how do we do it historically?
So historically, what we do is we submit what the department is submitting to the Office of Head Start for approval. It gets submitted, it doesn't get approved, and there's some sort of bullet increase or anything like that. It still has to go before the budget committee, and the budget committee still has to get approval to move forward with those goals. That's how it's historically worked. The department was going to submit the budget the way they present it during this council meeting to get the resolution approved.
so what you have before us is you have the budget narrative, you have the letter of support from the policy committee, you have the resolution in the packet, and then you have the letter of extension. Would it be good to say that we send the letter of extension first, or do you want it all approved consecutive, concurrently?
So yes, we met with the Office of Head Start on Friday, and they're the ones that let us know about everything that needs to be due on June 1st. And they recommended us to request for that 1-month extension. So this resolution that Jennifer, the previous director, Jennifer Scott, put in was to go and apply for this 5-year grant. There are some components missing, like the narrative, the budget. Those are things that we still have to put together. And I know Councilwoman Knight is also helping with the fiscal part of things. So giving us time to get everything together, but we would like to have approval to moving forward with this grant.
In such a manner of the extension or with the resolution? Both? Okay. That's what I asked. So, okay. Very well.
Just a comment.
Just to go back of what Cheryl was saying, we could do both now, because they do have to upload it into a system under Head Start enterprise system. So they got to upload numbers, documents, and that's all it is uploading all that stuff into that system. So I'm pretty sure they got approval of who's going to be doing that and can approve this now. Then once we approve everything, they can start uploading the documents and budget into the system.
Council. Question? Question?
This year, how many IEP students did you guys have? 3? Only 3?
We did have potential, but due to parent not thinking that they needed the services, we did offer them, and that was to that. Yeah. So it's a lot of parent involvement with when it comes to IEPs, and yeah, we had just.
And then, do you know where most of your graduates are going to kindergarten?
We have 16 graduates, and most of them are going to Mesa and Kemper. And we have one going to Kiva, one going to, it's another, well, I'm not sure if it's a homeschooling purpose or what. And then we have 5 going to KC. And the others, they were not sure.
And then my last question, I know the past few years you've been under the unenrollment plan. Are we still going to be on that under enrollment plan system? Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Question?
Thank you guys for all coming. I would be in support of this. You know, we want to make sure that our Head Start's there for our families, you know, just because a large variety of individuals in the community, not just tribal, but, you know, just regular community members. I know there was a time when there was some employees that utilized the Head Start for their children's needs, just because, you know, they thought it was, you know, they know it's a good place for their children. So I would be in support of this. You know, we don't want to lose our Head Start since it's a big part of our community, and you know, we see our children grow there, and you know, they build their first relationships there. So, thank you.
Any other questions, concerns, discussions?
Oh, I had one. Is this the first time we've gotten an extension for this grant, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. So, tribal council members, before you, you have a letter of extension, you have the FY 2026-27 budget. You also have in front of you the resolution, and Ms. Miller is going to read the resolution beginning at the second whereas, please.
Whereas the tribal council determined that the Mountain View Head Start program was established for the purpose of providing for the early childhood development for children on the Blue Mountain Reservation. And whereas the Blue Mountain Tribe has determined that children's early development is essential to the future social and economic well-being of the tribe and the tribal members. And whereas the U Mountain View Tribal Council hereby approves the submission of a grant application to the Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children, Youth and Families in a total amount of $1,103,006. Federal funding will be in the amount of $882,405. And the U Mountain View Tribe will provide a matching amount of $220,601. Now therefore be it resolved that the tribal council hereby support the funding proposal for Head Start program grant. Be it finally resolved that the tribal council hereby authorizes the tribal chairman to negotiate and execute the proposal and any amendments or extensions thereto at his discretion for the better benefit of the U Mountain View tribe. The foregoing resolution was duly adopted this 26th of May.
Thank you. So, tribal council, before you, you have again a resolution that needs to have action taken, as well as a letter of extension. We'll take the resolution first as to moving it forward. So, what are the wishes of the tribal council?
Chairman, I make a motion.
Motion, Secretary House,
Chair, I second.
second, Councilwoman Knight. We'll go to the vote. All those in favor of this grant application signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstain? Motion carries. We got a 6-5-0 vote. Motion carries. The second one is the letter of extension. Do we go with a consensus of the council to move this letter of extension? I'm asking this, the reason being that the council wishes to approve these documentations, so I'm going to go to the consensus of the council for my signature on this document to get it forwarded. So, go to my right. Do you consent to having this extension with my signature requesting for the extension?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Secretary?
Yes, I just have a comment, on that letter, if you, I don't know if you can send it to Evelyn, or Evelyn can send you, the letterhead, so it can be put on the chairman's letterhead, so, you know, it looks official and everything, but yes.
Councilwoman Jacket?
Yes.
Councilman Turtle?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kansi. I have a majority of council. We will forward it. Ms. Lopez, could you get that on a letterhead of my office, please? And we'll sign it and get it to you as soon as possible. If you have a template, forward it to her, email it to her so she could copy it, please. Thank you. Okay, we're going to take a brief recess, 5-minute recess, and we'll do BIA updates, council reports, and then we'll go to our executive session. So a 5-minute recess, please. Thank you. this afternoon. This fine day after Bear Dance. Okay. Thank you. We are back from recess and we will move forward. And with that, we have updates. It'll be the BIA giving a update, and then we'll have the tribal council members update. Then we'll go into adjournment, and then we will go into executive session. So, Ms. Superintendent, could you please give us a BIA update? Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman, Tribal Council. The agency is currently working with the South Regional Office, Tribal Government, and HR. We are recruiting and getting ready to fill 3 positions with the our court. One is going to be a general attorney, which will serve as a prosecutor, and the 2 magistrate positions. We are still waiting on FY26 contract proposals, and we will be sending more notice of funding issues to the tribe this week for some of the programs that received additional funding. Last week, we provided a letter to Chairman Whitestone and staff concerning the Creon Indian Minerals Development Agreement. A review was completed on the opportunities for the Four Corners Team, and a letter will be forthcoming. Meeting has been confirmed for June 11th with the chairman for Southern Ute and Ute Mountain to start at 9 o'clock for an introductory of the new fire organization fire personnel that started on the 18th. Let me know, Chairman White's going to give you any directions to the fire module. Also, we are waiting for fire restrictions, our fire restriction letter to be signed for Ute Mountain. That will be Friday. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you, Superintendent. I do have the document for the fire restriction that needs to be signed, stage 1. I will get that as soon as possible. The 3 hires, the general attorney that will oversee, prosecute, is the current prosecution contract up on that individual? Or is it, what is the, give a little bit more about the 3 positions, the general attorney and the 2 magistrate.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So the general attorney position, prosecutor, we're hoping to get a 2nd position on board. The other 2 positions are magistrate positions, and they're being classified now through the government system as GS employees. Currently, the magistrates that we have on board, from what I understand, were the classified as administratively determined employees, so they're really on temporary status. We did receive approval from central office to hire now, and that's what we've been working. We do have those positions right now. The general prosecutor is in HR, and the magistrate will be submitting packets for those. One of the judges' term will end, or is resigning, I should say, the end of June. So we'll have a vacancy there, but we're trying to expedite recruitment of those positions.
Thank you. Any other questions? I think on those budgets, when you do send those via email, as I've discussed with Councilman Turtle and on other emails that are electronically needing my signature, we're going to have to discuss a new format of getting those approved in the expedient time to meet the deadlines that are associated with those documents. We're getting the signatures, but we're also getting the expediency of those documents that are federal agency, state agency requirements that the tribe had and have been receiving those types of funds, additional funds to incorporate, and the narrative of the usage of those funds is going to be on the reliance of the department that receives those additional dollars or the increase to their budget. So we'll work that out, and I did see 4 of them come through electronically. That needs my signature. So we'll get that out, and we'll get the narrative that goes with the additional funding that you're requiring us to submit with the signature of my office. Any other?
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Any other? If not, let's go to our council reports. Ms. Knight?
Thank you, Chair. Short brief report for today. Since our last council meeting on Wednesday the 13th, I attended a Zoom regarding the Indian Country Energy Working Group. I know Treasurer Jacket was there in person in Oklahoma, so I attended on Zoom getting updates on energy and how tribes are in progress, problems, barriers, so it was a good Zoom. On Thursday the 14th, I attended the Bear Dance presentation with KCA, Head Start, and Battle Rock, along with Councilwoman Jacket and Secretary House. It was really good to see the little ones out there dancing. Positive, bright spirits they all had, and thanks to Smoke Signals for being there, the Bear Dance chiefs, the staff, the teachers. So it was really good. I enjoyed myself. In the evening, I attended the KCA board meeting. We had updates about the end of the school year, the next 2 weeks. Their last day is, I believe, May 29th. So that was a good meeting. On Friday morning, myself, Treasurer Jacket, we met with legal, just discussing some of the alcohol code that's still in progress for Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. And then in the afternoon, I had an interview with Erica from KCA just regarding her research that she's doing at the school. She's a teacher there. Monday the 18th, we had our executive staff meeting. Just as we say, every Mondays we hold that meeting to get updates. Departments need to bring something in for discussion. Tuesday the 19th in the morning, I attended the education team meeting. All of the education departments, division director, they meet on a monthly basis, going through updates, what we need help with. Myself and Secretary House attended with Danny Porter from KCA and Sherelle Lang, and also WIOA. Just updates on the end of the year, scholarships, KCA, Head Start. And then after that, I attended the award ceremony at the Head Start. Each of the classrooms gave their students awards, and it was good to see them excited, happy, the parents happy, and congratulations to all the kids. Wednesday, May 20th, I attended the Head Start graduation along with the rest of the council, the chairman. Thank you all for being there for our kids. It starts at that preschool age where we give them support, the family support that they need to get them going in their path for their school. So it was good to see the graduation, the kiddos dressed up, their nice beaded caps, the family members. So I just want to say thank you to the teachers, the staff, the family for the support they had for their kids all year. Thursday the 21st was the Head Start high school graduation, my bad, correction. Congratulations to all the graduates, parents. Thank you, Secretary House, for the remarks she made. It was really good. Congratulations again to everybody. Be on the lookout for the announcement for our upcoming education banquet next month for all the graduates from kindergarten through college. And on Friday, the 22nd, I attended the Bear Dance opening in Ignacio. Got to see the Montessori kids open it up, dancers, chiefs, the community. So it was good to be over there in Ignacio for the weekend too. See all this community members, tribal members enjoying themselves at the powwow, the bear dance. So it was good to see everyone over there celebrating, not only celebrating the spring and the coming of the bear, but seeing your relatives, people that you haven't seen in a while, socializing. And on the ending note, I just want to say sorry for the families that have lost loved ones within the past 2 weeks. We keep repeating ourselves because we keep losing our members, and it's really sad. So just be positive, be there for the family. If you have family members that need help, help them in the best way that you can. But it's up to the people themselves to take that initiative to get help and stop. But all we can do is pray and be there for our members and our community. So with that, I just want to say congratulations again to all the graduates. Let's get ready for our bear dance here in Toyac, and hopefully we get more moisture. It was good to have moisture yesterday. So prayers and good thoughts to all the community, the staff, the departments. Thank you all for your work, Tecoyac.
Thank you. Secretary House.
Hello, everybody. I am going to start my report a little bit back. On May 10th, I attended the Mother's Day walk, which was held by the Toyac Community Church. It was a walk from the Bear Dance ground to the church. Attended that, had the opportunity to walk with some of the church members there and just give thanks for all the mothers and females that we do have in our lives that make a difference. That same day, I traveled to Fort Duchesne to the Bear Dance, participated in that. Seeing some tribal members there. It's good to see our tribal membership supporting our sister tribe in their bear dance and, you know, having fun and having smiles on their faces. I was not at the May 12th council meeting. I was traveling back from Fort Duchesne that day. On Wednesday, the 13th, I attended the White Mesa General Meeting with Vice Chair Kelsey and Councilwoman Jacket. Had a good meeting. Good turnout, answered some questions, gave some updates on the happenings and any processes that tribal membership had there. Enjoyed lunch there and then traveled back. On May 14th, I attended the Bear Dance Head Start presentation with Councilwoman Knight and Councilwoman Jacket. Had the opportunity to welcome Battle Rock, KCA, and the Head Start students there. They had a very good turnout. A large amount of children came out, which was good. This was held at the powwow grounds here in Toyac. So it was a good event. A lot of families came out to support their little ones, so it's always good to see that our culture is being started at a very, very young age. Not only that, but we open it to our visitors to also enjoy our culture with us. On May 15th, I attended a KP Child Transportation meeting with Councilwoman Knight. We talked about the upcoming school year and how we are going to propose to the RE1 school district if we can get our school bus routes back. It's going to be a modified bus route. We identified which streets that most of our students live on, so hopefully that proposal will go through and then we can get the bus routes up and going again for this upcoming school year. We're just seeing that we have a large amount of students and we want to make sure that we can get our students to school in a safely manner. Of course, the bus stop at the recreation will still be open there, to which some of the buses won't go down those student streets. They can catch the bus there too, but just stay informed. We'll keep you updated on how that goes. Also that day, I attended the last day of the New True Souls Youth Walking Group. We've had a good turnout for that. We started planning early this year. Myself, Rec Center, some other staff members, some community members. We really got it up and going. And that day on May 15th was the last day. We were talking, some of the organizers of that were talking, and we are gonna open up a walking group for adults next. That'll probably be maybe towards the end of summer or early fall. We're just seeing that a lot of people want to get out and walk, walk in a group and socialize and, just walk as a group and, enjoy the scenery of what we have here in Toyota. Not only that, but staying healthy as possible as we can and walking in different areas, just anything to keep motivated, stay healthy, and stay positive. So we just stay informed. We will give you more information on that. I want to thank all the families and all the children who came out to the New True Souls Youth Walking Group. It was good to see them walk, build that stamina as they walked up and down the sidewalk. It was challenging at first for them, but it was really good to see them. They had fun. They made new friends, and we also gave out water bottle bags, so that was really nice to see. Saturday, May 16th, I attended a funeral for one of the tribal memberships. I want to give my condolences from my family to the Collins family. It's always difficult losing a sibling, and you build those relationships as you're young with your sibling, and things, you share things, and it's always hard to see a sibling pass on, and you miss them, you miss that connection that you've had. So my condolences to the family. On May 18th, I attended an update meeting, which we usually have every Monday. Got some updates from the rest of the council and the executive staff. May 19th, I attended an education meeting along with Councilwoman Knight and the Education Division of the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. Talked about updates and upcoming plans that the departments do have and when they'll be taking their breaks. Something that we want to start up is having an education division meeting for the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe, just so we can stay informed of all happenings of education and we can get that information out to you all. On May 20th, I attended the 8th grade graduation or continuation event in Cortez at the Cortez Middle School. And I want to congratulate all the 8th graders who will be attending high school. It's a good to see our young ones grow and move on to high school. And we all have positive thoughts, and we all love seeing our children grow and go on to the next grade, which is high school for them, and seeing them continue their education. Also, that same day, I attended the Head Start graduation with Vice Chairman, Chairman, some of the council members, and I had the opportunity to give the prayer there at the Head Start graduation. And it was good to see the families there supporting their little ones. I also want to say thank you to the Ketsey family who did purchase all the caps and gowns for the graduates this year. So that was, something that, we all help out in our community, and it's good to see, a family do that. And I encourage all the families to do that for our community. On May 21st, I attended a service provider meeting with Chair Councilwoman Jacket. There was some service providers there. We are talking about an upcoming service provider fair that we are looking at having, just so we can get out information of what all our service providers do provide for our community. Just stay on the lookout for an update for that. We're looking at possibly a July date on that, but we will keep you informed. I do encourage all service providers who work for the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe to please attend. This is important. We're all here for our community, and we all want to see them thrive in the most healthy, positive way. So your attendance is very much appreciated at these meetings. That same evening on May 21st, I attended the Montezuma Cortez High School graduation where I gave remarks on behalf of the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. It was good to see our tribal members graduate, a lot of females, which is good, and it's good to see them walk across that stage and get that accomplishment. I know their families were proud. We as the community and the Mountain View Tribal Council are proud of all our graduates, whether they're from preschool, continuation from 8th grade, or even our high school and college graduates. We are all very proud of you, and please remember that, you continue your education to build that beautiful, fulfilled life that you all deserve. So I want to say again, congratulations to that. On Saturday, the 23rd, I attended the Southern Youth Bear Dance in Ignacio. Sunday, May 24th,
6th, I attended the law enforcement meeting with the rest of the council. And on the 8th, I went to, well, the 9th, I went to Northern Youth Bear Dance at Portage. While I was there, I went to visit the Red Pine Treatment Center. You know, they have a treatment center that's 30 to 90 day program. And I learned that they only take tribal members first and their descendant second, and then the other tribes the third. So that's how their level is when they accept their clients for treatment. So there was a lot that I got to meet with the staff here there, and they shared a lot of good info on what kind of treatments they offer there. And we got treatment. That's what we really need here in this community. We are so desperate to get that treatment going, because the way we're going today, or the we know our young people, they're really struggling with substance abuse. And when they're involved with that, then it gets involved. They get involved with other incidents that happen, you know, domestic violence and other this negative behavior that takes part when our family members get involved with alcohol. Seems like that's the biggest thing that's going for us all. You know, our young people are going. And it's really hard to be in this position and sit here, and sometimes, you know, it's hard because you can't control what individuals are doing too. But however, we can try to come up with better services for them, so that we can see our loved ones, our young people grow old. But it's this alcohol is taking the best. I've been attending the services too, and I shed my tears for them, you know, because it's a relative, my relatives too, my nephews and nieces and grandkids that are involved in it too, and other relatives say, I myself particularly, I don't support that. I'm really against that, you know, let you all know that. I just don't, you know, because I've seen too many traumas around alcohol. And so that visit Red Pine was a really good visit, good info that they shared with me, the people that worked there. So hopefully we can utilize it, that kind of treatment here with our counseling and treatment. Then I attended the council meeting on the 12th. Also, we went on the 11th, we went to White Mesa General Council meeting down there, and I and Marilyn went and just kind of listened to what Gwen had going at. Thank Gwen for putting that up, and you know what she's doing down there with her people. You know, she's really working hard to get something good going for that community, and they really do need help too. And then I was unable to make it to the groundbreaking ceremony, but I attended Head Start Bear Dance presentation, which was along with Marilyn and Tawny, and that was very successful. It was really to see our young people dancing and getting involved, getting other schools involved, like Battle Rock, with all them kids, you know. They made a 2-role dancing, and we like to keep going. You know, we want to encourage them to be part of this, our traditions, our ceremonies. It's really important with all this education, graduation that's been going. I just want to say that to really encourage your children, your grandkids, to be proud of who they are as Nuchi, because that's our identity, Nuchi. You know, we're going to make it long ways, because That's what's gonna keep us going, and we always turn to that too. We need to, you need to all encourage that. Keep them going, let them participate into which we gain strength in it. We're proud of who we are. Rumabay, when we go out into this world, in this dominant society, it's a challenging world, right? But as long as we know who we are and our identity, that we do it, they're going to make it. They're going to be successful. So I just want to share that. And also, went to Southern Youth, what's it called? Chad and True. We went over there, took a couple of the elders with me. We attended there, and it was really interesting because they had their law enforcement making fry bread over there. There were about 4 or 5 of them. They were just having fun making that fry bread, and they were giving awards to them. And that's something really good that we should do that. This law enforcement, they need to be more involved in our community, and so that they can get to know the community, who we are, and but a lot of times that and that's what we're really pushing for. We want them to be involved in the community. Maybe we can lessen the things that's taking place here in the community. So I don't know who got the first place over there, but man, them guys were really flapping the dough, making fry bread. But we didn't get to eat any, so. And then on the 17th, we did a dressmaking, a traditional dressmaking. That was very successful at the Muguwa Behavioral Health. The ladies and brought their kids and grandkids out to make some noodle for the coming bear dance. Because we got that bear dance, best dressed bear dance. We're going to be giving out on Sunday for both men and women, and for the youth, boy and a girl, and we're going to give them something for dressing up, because that's our one way of encouraging, within that mind, with that mindset. We really want to keep them going, this new, especially the bear dance, because the way every year, that's our way of doing things, celebrating the new year, coming into the new year, right? The animal life, plant life, come to life, that we said mentally. It's our mental well-being that comes back. We need to rejuvenate that. Mama, into this new year. And then on the 21st, we attended. We had the service provider meeting, and Marilyn attended with me, and that's where we talked about that we were going to come up with that service provider fair. We want the service providers to come out and let the community what's there to offer. We're going to put that together during the evening and provide food with it. Because we all want you guys to know that here, the services are here. And you need to make a use of it, get involved in it when you need help. That's what it's here for too. And I think we kind of set it for the June 25th. Somewhere around there. And we're going to have that going. Also, we talked about the billboards that we're going to be putting up down on the Mike Wash Road for all preventive, that have prevention, whatever it is, that the service providers will be putting up stuff that the community need to know or be aware of. So that's in works. And hopefully we can get it going within the 2 weeks. We'll be working with Women with Construction on that. And also we're going to be doing the that the life alert, and that's been going, trying to set up schedules, but we have to deal with other people that are involved in that. And that emergency alert will be for elders or for anyone that has health issues. And we'll be talking about that. We're going to be meeting here maybe in the next couple of days and go over it and what we need to do and how you all can apply for it and get it going for yourself, because that's going to be a really helpful thing that when you're out there at home and something happens, you can use it, and then they can respond. When you push the button, EMS will respond to come and help you. Then I went to the Southern Youth Bear Dance and spent my time over there, met with a lot of people, and on Memorial Day I went to the veterans activities they had going and asked to say a few words there on behalf of us and the council, and that was good. That was a good turnout. They had a lot of dancers over there. It was a full house. They weren't allowing any more chairs in that corral. Yeah, they end up sitting outside. It was dusty. You should have seen all the young kids, young girls and boys going for it. And that was fun to see and watch. And all the bear dance singers that have beautiful songs set from White Mesa here, Northern Youth, and Southern Youth. They provided a beautiful music for them dancers. So, let me see. It's like I say, it's really chijige. We're losing our young people, and we're here again, and it's my prayers go out to all the families and relatives that some way that somehow something good, maybe we can overcome what we're dealing with all of it. So I just want to say that, keep you all in my prayers. So tawaya.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, council members, for your updates. First and foremost, I want to thank the tribal membership for viewing the council meeting today, staff and residents. Very important that you get in tune with what's going on with the government. It's important that tribal members know what's going on, and especially those tribal members that intend to run for tribal council. It's really important that you get in tune with the information that's here, as this is a very complex job. It's not for the weak-hearted or the weak-minded. This job, you really have to advocate for the tribal members and what's in the best interest for the tribe. So again, I want to thank the tribal council members for the job that they do. It's very, very crucial on the work that we do. So again, I'll start the day after the council meeting on the 13th. I did have a CHAFA presentation regarding the LIHTC for the 15 homes that the tribe intends to build here on the reservation. It was myself, Director Archie House for Housing, and our Travoy consultant, Abby Day. So really good information as the tribe's really trying to apply for something that's never been acquired here on the tribe initially on its own. So really crossing our fingers for some good outcomes for this as we move forward. This really opens the door in the event we get that for more programs to be acquired here for the tribe. Housing is something that we've been struggling with a lot and really trying to, exhaust every option out there that could help the tribe benefit with more houses. Definitely would look at more housing rehab and more structures that are built in the event we do get this opportunity. So it was really good to do something like that for the tribe and moving forward to garner that experience for future years to come. So really looking forward to that outcome. On the 14th, I did go to Foxtail Flats for the groundbreaking. It's a really good experience to have out there, and especially with a lot of these projects that are coming to fruition now. I just want to thank all the councils that were involved with this project, not just this council, but past councils that really, set where we're trying to go in the direction we're trying to go for the tribe, and definitely looking at renewable energies, especially in the New Mexico side. Is really somewhat of a positive as we move forward, and really putting our name out there so, New Mexico knows that we're a force to reckon with as we move forward. We're here to be a partner. We're not here to take away from anything. So really looking at it that in that aspect. So I want to thank all of the staff members that were there, tribal members, executive staff members. Thank you, Ron, for showing up. Very important, just gave a speech that it's important that we really collaborate with partners that share the same vision sense as the tribe in moving forward and being a responsible steward of the land. As we're talking about these decisions that are being made now, stewardship of this land is really important. We know with this administration, we've taken some crazy left and right turns, but nonetheless, we have to deal with what's going on in this administration and President Trump's decision making out there. Nonetheless, we as tribes are really resilient and find a way to make it through, the clouds in the event we go that way. So just really looking at it that way, and it was good to see all the collaborative partners that are out there partnering with us, and some of the government entities that were out there too. Made a lot of contacts with some of the San Juan officials. So really hoping that really becomes beneficial as we move forward, especially with the funding sources with our new community that's going to be coming online. So again, a lot of opportunity that's out there, and I just want to thank everybody that was a part of that process. Very important with this groundbreaking and the battery storage that's there. So very grateful to the partners. On the 15th, I did have a call with our grant writer. We did give some ideas for the housing retreat that we got going on locally. So we got a couple of dates that have came out of that. So again, really looking to forward that to the council and see what really works best for our schedules as we move forward. I think it's very important as we're dealing with transitions and issues we're doing with housing moving forward. I know we talked about the electric issue. That's probably going to be put on the back burner because the state of Colorado did rescind their resolution for propane water heaters, I think it is. So that really gives us a positive outlook as we move forward in the event with the transitions with the electricity that's there. Really trying to base the avenue on how we're going to do collections because everybody is responsible for their housing payments. These homes that are under HUD, you're not just, there to live there for free. We've got to make sure that we're all responsible in developing an avenue for everybody to pay their part of the rents. I know sometimes a lot of these rental payments get left back to the elders, and especially with young adults that are able and willing to work. So I just want to emphasize on that as we move forward, with the accountability of everybody and the responsibility of everybody that's 18 and over living in these homes. You've got a responsibility, not just your mom, not just your dad, not just grandma, grandpa. Everybody plays a role here. So it's important that we all get on the same page as we move forward. So that's what we're discussing right now is the delinquencies in which we have there. And as well as getting a hold of all of the mishaps that are going on within these rental units, the partying, the vandalism, the abuse. So everybody's going to start being held accountable for a lot of these things. So we've been saying this to tribal members for the long term and really trying to develop something that makes us successful. We all play a role here as we move forward, so we've all got to be responsible in those aspects as we move forward, and housing is something of an importance to everybody here as we're seeing the shortfall with homes. So we just want to make sure that the tribal members are making the best of these homes and not abusing them in that way, because the next person could definitely utilize that home in a good way. So just making sure everybody makes responsible decisions as they're in their units. No partying, please, and if you do party, you're going to get caught and you will get evicted. So I just want to put that out there again. We've got to make sure that we get back into compliance with a lot of these things because for years on out, it hasn't been. So now we're taking that new leaf and turning it and making sure that what was dropped, the ball that was dropped previously is now being picked up, and people are responsible for their homes and their living environments, because that's essential for everybody. On the 18th through the 20th, I did go to the Elk Valley Ranch. It was good to see 14 tribes that had showed up. And basically with this Elk Valley Ranch is really tribes that had a historical tie to the lands that were there. And as everybody knows, we were the gatekeepers to the mountain, the Nuchu. So we were making sure that we're there with our voice at the table, kind of like the New Mexico side right now. We're just really trying to educate all of the other tribes the significance that was portrayed down there and how significant the Nuchu were down there. It goes all the way from that area all the way to Abiquiu. So really educating the tribal leadership down there in the government, the New Mexico state government, on the roles that they play and the responsibilities that they play with making sure that we as U-Mountain Ute tribe have that voice at the table and they're listening as well. You know, for far too long, we've been put in the back burner and we've been ignored that way. And we're here now, so we've been recognized in the state, and we let them know that we're not going anywhere. So definitely making sure U-Mountain has representation down there. Really looking to be stewards of the land down there. Developing an MOU or an MOA with the state of New Mexico and the Nature Conservancy that's down there, to making sure that we, have that responsibility there to make sure the land is protected the best way possible, with as long as the other tribes are there too. So really good, saw all kinds of wildlife while we were down there, bighorn sheep. My partner and myself saw a bear down there, so I, took that as good blessings, seeing the bear and considering that it's our bear dance time now. Maybe that's some good news that's going to be coming to the tribe and saying, hey, good things are going to happen for us here. So really looking at that and that viewpoint and making sure that we're a part of this process there, because, there's so much wildlife down there, and, just thinking of how it was historically, and there was no remnants of buildings or even the mining factory that used to be down there. There's still things that we have to sift through to make sure that everything's top par for this. But definitely Mr. Wakanda was there, and he gave us a good insight on how we could be a part of that collaboration and really ensuring that the state of New Mexico was going to be there to support the tribes. And I'm really hoping that the state really means what they say. Sometimes we see it far too long with these state governments that, we're told one thing, but when it really comes to the action, it strays the other way. So I'm really hoping that these state governments really adhere to some of the requests that the Native American governments really put at the forefront, because it's important that they adhere to that. Going back to being the first stewards of the land, it really needs to come to that. So again, beautiful, beautiful land down there. We're looking at some other meetings that are coming up. I did let them know that Tanya and I will still continue to be at the forefront. So hoping that you get to go to the next one, because the land there is very beautiful and calming. Probably something that I needed, so it was a good thing to go down there. After that, I did go to the Southern Ute bear dance. I didn't dance over there, but just watching everybody over there was good. Probably partake in that when we come to our bear dance. We got a lot of events that are coming up for our bear dance, so really making sure we're on top of these things. We've got a lot of visitors that are going to be coming over here as well, so making sure we're prepared for that as we move forward. So a couple of things that are coming up on the 28th. I've got a permanent supportive housing webinar where I'm going to be a panelist for rural supportive housing. So really looking at that as we move forward, the conversation that we've had before this meeting, just really emphasizing on the importance that services are needed here in the rural areas too, not just other surrounding communities, but Native American communities as well, because I see that shortfall in services or funding from the government, who has a fiduciary responsibility to us. And, I really see that ball being dropped every year as we go by, and especially now with the cuts that are being implemented from the federal government. It just makes us wonder, what are those treaties for? How are these treaties being upheld? And unfortunately, in the past years, they haven't. So shame on you, federal government, as we move forward, and hopefully we can come to a clear common ground on how, the fiduciary responsibility is met for tribes such as ours that really partake in these government funding. So again, as we move forward, definitely important to be at the table with a lot of these issues that are going on. On the 29th, we potentially have a tour of the New Mexico side for the community that we're going to be building. So I just wanted to put that out to the council members. If you have time on the 29th, we're looking to schedule something. I don't know if that's been solidified, but really trying to do that so we know, how to put the pieces of the puzzle together and be successful as we move forward. Some of the other things that we got coming on, we got CCIA, our fourth quarterly meeting that's going to be happening on the 4th. But before that, we're going to be celebrating the 50-year anniversary for Colorado Commission of Indian Affairs at Fort Lewis College. So really important that we are part of this. I think the state has really got some really valuable insight on how it is and what it is to be working alongside a tribal government. We're all sovereign governments. We all have the right and the ability to move forward the best way that we feel is necessary. But working from sovereign government to sovereign government, we need to make sure that there's an understanding there. And we do that to the best of our abilities to be successful with all players at the playing field. So really looking forward to all of this as we move forward. Again, the fourth quarterly meeting is going to be on June 4th, and that'll be down here at the casino and hotel. So really looking forward to that. We always do that to kickstart the bear dance, and the state government really participates in the opening of the bear dance with the kiddos on that following Friday. So really looking forward to that, and really keeping those structurized relationships founded as we move forward. So it's important that we develop that. Also been inviting a lot of the other tribes to our festivities here. And really making sure that we have a good turnout and we build relationships with other tribes that are out there, because that's really important, the development of relationship from tribe to tribe. I cannot emphasize on that enough to say that we as tribal governments really need to develop relationships with other tribal governments, because you really look at it across tribes in America, a lot of us face the same shortfalls and really could advocate with one another to make a bigger impact in Washington, D.C. on that level. So, really been putting that at the forefront as I go to these conferences, these meetings, because it's important, because you still see the divisions from tribe to tribe, and the territorial boundaries that are there, and sometimes all it takes is educating another tribe on what was history, because it's important that all of our histories are put out there in the forefront. So really trying to do that in New Mexico right now, because again, seeing some little barriers, but again, if we don't communicate, then we don't overcome those barriers. So it's been a really good thrill as we move forward. Some of the housing retreat, we're looking in July, probably the end of July, maybe the end of August or early September for some of those, but I'll go ahead and send that out to the tribal council to see what is best accommodable for everybody for this housing retreat. Again, a lot of work that needs to be done there, but we're making leeway there. In August, we do have a COLT meeting, one of our quarterly meetings that are going to be held up in Santa Fe in New Mexico, and that's from the 13th through the 16th. So really looking at that and inviting the tribal council to be a part of that, because a lot of information on the government side is really streamlined through COLT. The information that we get through NAFOA, the information that we get through NCAI, a lot of information that they portray out there is really geared here in COLT too. There's only, I would say, about 50 tribes that are a part of COLT, because in order to get that membership, it's got to be 100,000 acres or more. And these are basically dealing with the treaty tribes, because I feel a lot of the other tribes that have the monetary expenses to expand out there are really at the forefront on these things. But what about the treaty tribes? Where are we at these conversations? A lot of us have abundance in land, abundance in cultural resources, and abundance in our own culture. So really making sure that we're at the forefront too. So really looking forward to the COLT meeting and seeing what's going on. Our bear dance is next weekend, so I really like to see a good turnout from our tribal members. Again, the invitations have been gone out to everybody, so really looking forward to see the turnout, and again, the restaurant with its opening. So really hoping we get some good feedback from everybody out there, and it's important that we get that feedback from everybody, because without that feedback, we're still going to be going forward blindfolded, and it's good to always have that insight from our patrons out there to guide us in the right direction to be successful with a lot of our enterprises that are out there. On the 22nd through the 24th of July, myself and probably Secretary House will be at the National Lieutenant Governors Association, just giving some brief comments about what it is for a government-to-government relationship and how tribes can be successful in their other respected states for their government and their tribal government. So really looking at that, it's really important, again, that we as Native Americans have that insight and really at the forefront vocally to be a part of these conversations. I want to thank the royalty that was down at the visitor center displaying the bear dance to some of our patrons that are there. I thank you guys all for your dedication and how you're ambassadors of the tribe and really educating non-tribal members on who we are as Nuchu. So again, Bonnie, J. Marcus, others that I wasn't able to see there, thank you for being at the visitor center and portraying the display of the bear dance. So that's what it's all about when we go out to these different conferences. I'm so proud of the ambassadors that are there and really showcasing who we are as Ute Ute tribe. So thank you guys for all of that. I want to offer my condolences again to all of the family members that are going through what they're going through. The loss of a loved one is definitely nothing easy to take on. Sometimes we don't know how to deal with a lot of these things, and it's always good to talk to somebody. If you're going through those type of problems right there, definitely reach out to Behavior Health over at IHS, and maybe they can help you there or help guide you to another person you can speak to, because the grieving process is hard, and sometimes it leads on to more challenges if we're not able to overcome those issues. So again, my prayers are out for all of you guys and the loss of the loved ones. Addiction is what took a lot of our tribal members there, and this isn't something that's just been thrown at us within the past couple of months. This is something historically that has been happening, and unfortunately, through all these years, 10, 15, 20 years ago, we haven't really got the formulation on how to address a lot of these historical traumas, and you can see it, we're still facing through it now. We need to find a better way to grieve, and sometimes our tribal members go through the grieving process of drinking, and that's not a good way. That's not a good way to go through the grieving process. So we all need to work together to find a better process so we can talk to one another. Like I say, there's only 2,100 tribal members here. Ute Utes, and we shouldn't be, against each other. We should be really supporting one another because there's a bigger fight outside of these boundary lines. There's not going to be no more Mountain Utes outside of these boundary lines unless they live off the reservation. But, you see how many 575 federally recognized tribes out there, and we're all unique in our own way. So, I continue to say this out there. We need to start to heal internally here as Mountain Ute tribe, because I see historical events taking place with families and teachings, and it's still continuing to be a negative way. So, we still got to formulate a way to really devise treatment to help our tribal members be successful in the long term with the counseling and treatment and just counseling. So I say that respectably. And prayers to the families that are dealing with these health hardships with their family members out there too. The power of prayer is strong, so we'll continue to pray for everybody and making sure everybody is prayed for in a good according way. I think one thing that we really still need to talk about, and I don't know if some of the council members remember this conversation that we had, but this has to deal with the bushwhacking. I know some of the membership were there. I think we discussed this on a council meeting. But the response we got back from that was really good, and this is, it's a challenge when descendant families really have to get a deduction from their payrolls to help these little descendants working in the bushwhacking program. So we really got to find a remedy to do that, because we shouldn't be holding back our descendants, and especially the descendants that lived here for a number of years and growing up. We need to make sure that we support them in the best way possible too. So we've done it with the temp worker program, so definitely we can do that for the bushwhacking program. So it's probably a conversation that we'll have in executive session, but I don't think family members, we're already struggling. We already live in poverty here. So why do we have to make it difficult for more of our tribal members to ensure that their kiddo has a great, successful summer? So again, conversations that we'll have in executive session. And definitely looking at how we can provide more community events, especially for the kiddos for the summertime. I haven't really seen anything out there. I know I was kind of disappointed with the spring break because there wasn't really anything geared to the youth. So really looking at it now, we have to do something this summer to make sure that there's activities that are out there for our youth, because if our youth aren't busy, they're out there doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So, I just put that out there respectably to the departments out there. Really would like to see what you got going on for the summer activities because, summer is just going to be here and there, and then pretty soon they're going to be back to school, but we want to make sure that they don't get into any trouble along the way. So I just want to say in closing, be safe to everybody out there. Enjoy your summer. It's going to start to get hot. Keep hydrated out there. Again, we're looking at potential conversations with the dog ordinance that's out there and how that's going to coincide along with housing because everybody has to be responsible for their fur babies. I think that's really important out there. And if you love your doggies and your animals so much, you will take these measures to ensure that they're in compliance with that. So a lot of changes that are going to be coming out here. We gotta get out of this rut of complacency because we've been going down this road of doing things how we've done it for the longest time. And now I think this council right here really has that vision mindset on how we change things and really holding people accountable for their actions, especially if they're negative actions. So again, putting that really respectably out there. And I just want to say enjoy the bear dance when it comes. And again, say hi to somebody that you haven't talked to. Say hi to a relation out there. Develop those relationships again because we need each other in the long term. So again, the way out. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman. That was a good report that you have given out. Vice Chairman, do you have a report?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
My report, I attended the GS 500 conference meeting for some technology that was introduced, they map out, rules and market access landscape to identify, historical sites and ancestral, the.
This thing doesn't need water. It's right here.
Area. And it's really, it penetrates the foliage and it penetrates the land. So those,
Nancy, for your reports. I thank the tribal council for all their reports, their travels, and their meetings, and their representation to the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. I'm going to go over a very brief synopsis of my report. It's not lengthy as most of the council as well. I'll begin with thanking the tribal council and the tribal membership for listening in on today's council meeting, and condolences to all those who have passed on and to their families. The congratulations to all the graduates of the surrounding schools and to family members who have graduated from the various educational programs that are offered to our tribal members, our descendants, and non-tribal members as well. So a good job done, and to the extended families of those families and graduates as well. It's been a busy month, and it's going to continue with a busy month. School's out, and one more school to complete, which is KCA. Last day is on the 28th. They'll have an award ceremony beginning at 9 for all of those individuals, whether they're transitioning into KCA or transitioning out to the public schools as well. So to the staff, to the volunteers, to the individuals that made that a successful school year, much appreciated in those efforts as well. We had our council meeting on the 12th of May, and again, they had the meeting at White Mesa, the community meeting that was hosted by White Mesa Representative Vice Chairman. Thank you, and attended by the tribal council members. The 14th was our Utah Tribal Leaders meeting. I went with Ms. Cansey and Ms. Tallahash, and in there, there was a lot of discussion. We had tribal caucus half the day from 9 to 12. Was oriented in tribal caucuses, tribal updates amongst the tribal leaders. Very good conversation as to what was being played out the first half of the day. The second half of the day was getting information from the Utah Division of Indian Affairs, his initiatives, his programs, and the initiatives of having a format for tribal and state relationship, a policy which is going to be work in progress, which is going to be given to all the tribes within the state of Utah and to the legislators in the state of Utah to come before the tribal leaders program. A lot of discussion around that area. On Friday, we had the driver's license. We had educational initiatives. Very well attendance from the tribal leaders. The biggest takeaway from that session was having the Senate and House of Representatives Tribal Liaison Caucus address the tribal leaders as to the initiatives that are going to be forthcoming to the new session of the legislative body in the coming months, as well as current issues that have been put in the back burner, from education to healthcare, to employment, to the mill, as Ms. Cansey has reiterated. State legislation supports White Mesa Mill and its contribution to the national security of the nation that is at play. So these legislation, the state of Utah is supportive of White Mesa Mills and Energy Fuels. As she stated, it's going to be a long time coming for any changes that are even going to occur. So my advice to the tribe, to its council, to its individual departments within the Ute Mountain Ute tribe, we have to come at the table in a compromising position as to how we're going to have to compromise with the initiatives and the what Energy Fuels can give to the Ute Mountain Ute tribe and the White Mesa community as well. It's work in progress. It's going to be there for many years, well before our lifetime. So again, the legislation to the state of Utah sees it as a national security issue. Not only do they take this element of uranium, the tailings, nuclear radon rods, whatever, they remanufacture it and they make it into a component that is being utilized by the Department of Defense. It also is being utilized by the health department. It has its own recycling process in the process, and there needs more activity in detecting any fallout of any material, hazardous material. So again, maybe we need to change the format of how we approach. But then again, that's at the tribe's wishes, again, as the state legislators indicated that they are in support of the White Mesa Mill. And it's just something that we are going to have to continue to fight at all levels if that's the wishes. But if we're to litigate White Mesa Mill, I don't think we have the resources to do that at any given time and point. So it's just something to think about as to what's the next step. In that discussion, educational opportunities for the state and incorporating traditional activity, traditional schooling material that they're proposing. Again, they should have been at the first session with the state legislators as to the approach of how to come forth to the tribe, the Utah Leader Tribal Session. It's something that's well worthy of it. We had the 18th is the executive staff meeting discussion. In that process, the format for that process is that we talk amongst the executive staff and the tribal council on past and current issues or future projects that are going to take place in their official capacity. We also allow departments to come before the tribal council to discuss future council issues that they may need to have addressed before the council takes action. It's a format that gives and allows these department directors to present their concerns and matters 2 weeks prior to the council meeting. It doesn't happen just overnight to where you're going to present and the next day you're going to be on the council agenda. It doesn't work that way. So again, directors, presenters, the format is you're going to be on a discussion matter on the Monday following the next week and a half. You will then come before the tribal council with your projects as well. The 19th, we had the KCA 5th grade transition ceremony as well as projects, and one of their topics was public speaking. And all the 5th graders that are transitioning to 6th grade had the opportunity to present orally to the individual family members as well as to the 4th grade that was there. They gave their presentation on projects that they were working on throughout the 4 or 5 years that they were in KCA, which again, Mr. Porter, his faculty, the tribal members, families, really encouraged them to continue on with supporting their young kiddos. The 22nd, 23rd, we had the Health and Human Services consultation in Salt Lake City. The U.S. Deputy Secretary of the Health and Human Services was talking with all the 8 tribal leaders or designee on the upcoming Health and Human Services budget, as well as the new health and IHS director that is being nominated and is going to go before Congress for its official hearing, which is coming up within the next 2 months. In that process, they blanket, what is that, Piddle? It's a military blanket that they had given to the tribal leaders. Very good session. The 25th, I went to Blanding to dedicate the new Veterans Memorial Park. I thought I was just going there to speak on just how the veterans associate with the community, but nonetheless, I became the keynote speaker to that dedication, as well as blessing the area in itself. Tomorrow, I will be going to Pinecrest. The Ute Mountain Ute tribe is going to be moving their cattle in the next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks to the summer ranges. The 28th will be the KCA last day. Again, everybody that is transitioning from K to 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, 5 to 6 is going to happen during that time. As Councilman Turtle has indicated, Blackbird Management is going to do a site visit on 3 different sites on the New Mexico area of building a community for the future of the White Mesa. And I want to very thank the Councilman Turtle for his representation at the Foxtail project that is currently in construction phase. He attended on behalf of the tribal council and made very good comments to the audience and to the investor, the construction company, and those that were there generally on the way the tribe is turning into the renewable energy phase. The other issue that we have, and council members and tribal members, those that are out in the field on Ute Mountain, you will see some drill rigs out there. They are a part of our helium energy exploration project. They are drilling in existing wellheads that are going to potentially produce helium for the tribe, and it's ongoing work on progress. I met with Tim Reinhardt and his geologists and investors. They're looking at ways to transport that helium either through existing pipelines or creating 2 options, doing another pipeline that is underground, or they're going to have the pipeline laying on top of the ground and flowing to the refinery in Bloomfield. That's yet to be determined, work in progress as well. As the Vice Councilman Turtle has said, CCIA is going to be on the 3rd and the 4th. I will be in Boulder, Colorado as a panelist for the Colorado River project as well as to the law school. Southern U and others will be on the panel. Roger Frawa from Flowers Incorporated will also be on the panel in discussing the water issue on the Colorado River. And on the 9th and 10th, we will be doing the 10 River Tribes. I will be also on the 10th. I will also be on a review panel and appointments of federal magistrate judges that I've been selected to be a part of. And Mr. Ortego is the facilitator to this Federal Magistrate Review Board. And we'll be looking forward, will be my first meeting with that organization as well to have input on the appointments and the review of federal magistrate judges. All 6 panelists are attorneys, and I am the only tribal leader that will be on that review panel as well. So I am honored to do that. That concludes my report, tribal members, tribal staff, tribal council. I know there are more travels, more meetings that have to be conducted and attended to. I thank you for your advocation. The tribal membership thanks you for their advocation. I still haven't gotten any information or how we want to conduct the general meeting. If the 30th is still the date that we want to shoot for, I need to know that as well. If not, I could move it to either the first week of June or the 3rd week before Sundance, which falls on the 25th. The 26th through the 29th is Sundance. The Bear Dance is the 5th through the 8th. We could entertain a projected June 20th if that is sufficient and suffice with the tribal council to have a general meeting on the 20th of June, and agenda items that would be included would have to come from the consensus of the tribal council as to the discussion topics as well. So if that's the wishes, or if it's the wishes to have the general meeting on May 30th, I'm open for that as well. So can we get that information to our executive secretary, Ms. Lopez, who will forward all the other agenda items to either date. So again, tribal council, tribal membership, that concludes our general session of the tribal council meeting. We will go into executive session here. So I would like to entertain a motion to go into executive session. We have 4 topics for executive session. I have a motion, Council Turtle. Second, Councilwoman Jacket. All those in favor of going into executive session signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstention, motion carries. We have a 5-4-0 or 6-5-0-0 consensus to move into executive session. Thank you, tribal members, and we will have the next council meeting on June 9th. Thank you. Okay.